In mobile technology, it's the same thing over and over. New device comes out, new device gets reviewed, new device gets forgotten. Almost no one follows up, no one follows along, no one sticks around to see how well a gadget ages over time, because there's always something new to drool over. So let's do something about it. Let's take another look at the most hyped droid of the past 5 years. I'm Michael Fisher, this is the Motorola Droid Turbo, and this is episode 47 of After the Buzz. The Motorola Droid Turbo can be thought of as the bigger, brawnier cousin of last year's excellent Moto X. In the States, it's exclusive to Verizon Wireless, which means at least some folks in need of a durable, long-lasting smartphone probably switched networks to get it. Did they make the right call? Well, the specs have certainly aged well. The Snapdragon 805 was one of last year's most powerful processors, and backed up by 3 gigs of RAM and 32 or 64 gigs of onboard storage, it holds up well under the processing load of the newer Android version the Turbo's running today. Toss in a 5.2-inch Quad HD display and a 21-megapixel camera, and the Turbo certainly isn't hurting in terms of raw hardware. It's durable, too. Whether you sprung for the metallized glass weave or the ballistic nylon version we've got here, you got a pretty beefy phone that doesn't mind being tossed around, even if that includes a little splish-splash. And Motorola has recently introduced new color options as well, adding the new silver finish with colorful trims, and bringing the 32-gig storage tier to the ballistic nylon version as well. But just as the high points have persisted, so too have the low ones. It never made much sense to me to toss a Quad HD display onto a device built for rough usage. Sure, Samsung did it, but its displays get really bright if they need to. The Droid Turbo's screen is beautiful and crisp in the shade or indoors, but outside at high noon, you're not going to notice its resolution because the panel just doesn't get bright enough to overcome direct sunlight. The side keys are mushy, the speakerphone collects dust like a moon crater, and despite the new paint job, the boxy chassis has a distinct lack of charm. Also, Motorola's software value adds don't tend to age very well. While it's great to be able to address your phone without touching it, the whole experience is pretty slow. Hello, computer. What's up?
Hi there, the time is 12:34 p.m. You have 4 Gmail messages waiting for your review. The last message was sent at 12:28 p.m.
By the same token, having your text messages read aloud to you and then being able to dictate a reply is awesome. But again, it's sluggish and not very reliable even in a quiet room.
Good afternoon. New text from VZW Demo. To hear it, say listen.
Listen. Listen.
Sorry, can you repeat that? To hear it now, say listen.
Listen. Listen.
VZW said, finish this video so we can hit the beach, man. To reply to VZW, say send message.
Send a message.
Say your message.
All right, give me a second, period. Cool your jets, exclamation point.
I think you said, all right, give me a second. Cool your jets. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
Great, I'll send that now.
These are features we absolutely adore, but Android doesn't seem able to keep them snappy and consistent over time, which is a shame. Fortunately, Motorola's other conveniences like gesture controls are as useful as ever. Double chopping the phone like an axe now turns the flashlight on or off, while double twisting it launches the camera, as always. Speaking of, the viewfinder is still pretty bare bones and awkward to shoot with, and the Turbo isn't the fastest to focus either, which makes low-light photography harder than with other phones. Shooting side by side with the Galaxy S6 Active, the Samsung carried the day in most circumstances. But you can still get some solid stuff from the Turbo. Its manual exposure targeting can be helpful in split lighting scenes when you don't want to use HDR. It's capable of some impressive macro and bokeh-style shots. There's burst mode if you're trying to freeze a moment in time, and high frame rate video if you just want to slow it down. Also, the high resolution means you can zoom in quite a ways before losing definition. If you find the best lighting and the perfect moment, it's actually capable of some beautiful shots, whether you're using the main camera or the selfie shooter. Just don't expect the kind of versatility you'd get from a Galaxy S6, iPhone 6, or a late model Lumia, especially once the lights go down. The Droid Turbo still has one of the biggest batteries on the market, as big as the one on the phone that wouldn't die, the Huawei Ascend Mate 2. But where the Huawei phone gave us 9 hours of screen-on time per charge, the Droid Turbo barely gives us half that. Even putting it up against a phone with a similar screen size and resolution, the Galaxy S6 Active, the Droid Turbo usually doesn't last as long, despite having a larger battery. Whether the culprit is Motorola's always listening voice pickup, some unseen bit of Verizon bloatware, Android lollipop, or something else, we're not the only ones to notice. And we're surprised it hasn't been ironed out in the 9 months since release. Because while yes, the wireless charging is nice, and the wired turbocharger is fast, no phone with a battery this big should die this quickly, especially not when it's being sold as a 48-hour smartphone. I'm in a weird spot. I can't figure out how to end this episode because I don't really know how I feel about the Droid Turbo. I guess the closest I can get is, it's fine. I mean, some aspects are great. The durability, the display resolution, the Moto features, the front-firing speaker placement, even, at times, the camera. But the software is still wonky and prone to buggy behavior, the speaker isn't as loud as it could be, and actual battery life is a far cry from potential battery life. The Droid Turbo is still the best rugged smartphone in Verizon Wireless's portfolio, so if you're married to Big Red and need a rough-and-tumble, spec-packed companion right now, it's still the best option. But if you're willing to wait, or you're willing to jump carriers, other, better options are definitely out there, and Motorola's own sequel is likely just over the horizon. Keep that in mind as you head to the phone store. If you're wondering how other smartphones and wearables have fared over time, check out the rest of our After the Buzz series here on YouTube, and be sure to subscribe and give us a thumbs up if you did enjoy this video. Till next time, this has been Michael Fisher with Pocketnow, Captain Two Phones on Twitter, reminding you that Turbo is a great name for a pet. Seriously, try it out. It's cute. We'll see you next time.